gonna comment on something, but...
What is it?
I think it's regarding our previous episode, because I was editing it before we went on a call. I feel like even if we recorded 2 hours worth of clips, we haven't said our piece enough.
True.
There's still room for more opinions. But yeah, that was it.
Excuse me, I just burped. I'm so gassy.
Did you know that you also burped in our previous episode?
Yeah. No, I think it was in like the Urban Legends episode.
That one too.
Let's just change it to like burping conversations with Kalai.
I feel like every episode we're trying to change the name of our podcast.
We're trying to change the title of the podcast.
Oh, we should do something similar with the Maalaala Mo Kaya. It's like, guess the new title of the podcast.
By the end of the podcast, tweet it to us.
What's the title of this week's episode?
And then if you get it right...
Yeah, that should be like our contest.
You're not going to get anything.
You're just going to get a retweet and a like.
If you get it right, you just get a like.
Not even a retweet, just a like.
Just a like.
What the hell is wrong with us?
Sorry, guys. Oh, shit. We have listeners, Gabby.
We keep doing this. Sometimes I think they're going to feel like, this shit is so scripted.
No, we just
keep forgetting.
We just forget it.
Yeah. Welcome to Creepy Conversations with Kalai and Gabby, you guys. Today we're going to talk about Kapre. Just to break away from the seriousness and the gravity of last week's episode.
Oh, wait. Yeah. By the way, speaking of seriousness, it's not yeah, it is serious. But this morning I was really sad because I found out that Mac Miller died. And I'm such a huge fan of Mac Miller. And I would just like to open this regarding substance abuse because he died of an apparent drug overdose. If you're using drugs, like the bad kind, this is a sign from the universe to stop and go seek help. Like, it's not gonna help you or anything. If you feel like you're progressive at work, but it's just gonna ruin you someday, and you probably won't even notice that you're addicted to it. So this is a sign, guys. Go seek help.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
They have, sadly, I don't think we've recorded Craig's voice, but guys, this is the first time ever that we've heard him talk, and we really do feel
It's
like
so scary.
he comes from the government. Like, there is no doubt anymore. He is from the government. It's so fucking freaky.
Gabby and I were like, what the fuck? Did you hear that? Because Craig
He never says anything.
Yeah, he never says anything. And then for this episode, he like said something.
Yeah.
And
he actually informed us like that he was already recording, and I'm like, what?
And we're like, why are you polite all of a sudden? We don't like it.
You actually thought like his voice would be a chipmunk or something.
Yeah, me too. And he heard Gabby pee.
We recorded that, but you're not gonna hear. Oh my god, stop.
I'm trying to sell.
Just because you burp doesn't mean that they have to hear me pee. What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I promised to be like less giggly for this episode, and like
that's a lie.
It's not even 10 minutes.
We actually had our laugh exercise before we recorded, thinking that we grow tired.
Laugh exercise.
Yes, let's call it that. Your hunkle as our trainer.
All right. So should we start?
Wing it.
Let's wing it. Right. So Kapres. Fuck. I sound so funny. How do I start it?
Speaker.
So I think we all know what a Kapre is. Now I'm like weirded out. But yeah, I think we all know. I think everyone in the Philippines probably has heard of that word, and we know what it kind of looks like. So we know the Kapre as like its regular form, like the tall and scary looking. But I just like to, because while researching on this topic, I learned a lot about our history. So it actually, we had an old religion before Islam. Am I pronouncing it right? Islam.
How are you supposed to say Islam?
I don't know. Why am I asking that? Anyway, before Islam arrived here in the Philippines, for those that don't know, before Christianity arrived here, the main religion for the entire Philippines was Islam. And then prior to that, there was Daoism, which, if you remember, if you went to elementary.
What is wrong with you?
Sorry. We learned about our gods, Bathala. I'm not saying it's Bathala, Gabby. Bathala.
So defensive.
And our Diwata. So that's what was the name of the religion again?
Daoism.
Daoism. So that's what Daoism is. And then before that, it's based on animism, which
is about anime.
We will have... Yes. Even before anime existed, the Filipinos believed in animism. So we're going to be doing an episode, by the way, on this, a future episode. It's just really quick. It's an old belief in the Philippines. And one of their beliefs is that spirits can manifest into physical forms. And that's what a Kapre is mainly. So it's a deity, not really a deity, but it's a spirit that manifested into usually it's a black physical form. So that's similar to what a Kapre is. And before the word Kapre was associated to the Kapre. The fuck? Sorry.
I think you're looking for the word coin, like before Kapre was coin. Yeah. At least you didn't say, what's the word for it again?
And make it into a drinking game? No, thank you. I'm pretty sure I will say it later.
Speaking of drinking game, I think I've created a new one. I've noticed that I keep saying, like, that's how you get murdered or that's how you get killed. And I think, like, every time I say that, they should take a shot. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, and every time we say yeah. So you're going to get hammered by the end of this episode.
Not even.
Look at us, like, making our own drinking game.
Because we're cool like that. Everyone wants to be us.
Anyway, back to the Kapre. So the etymology. How come before we started the podcast I could say the words right, and then now that we're recording I can't even. So the word kafir, which is that's like the root word, whatever. So it's an Islamic term for non-believers. And then what was he silent? So that's the non-Islamic term for non-believers. And then during the time, it evolved into, how do you say this? When the Spaniards arrived here in the Philippines, they bought in African slaves. Actually, the etymology for Kapre is a bit racist.
Are you sure a bit?
Just like the rest of the history, of regular history, it's racist. So they used that term for non-believers for the African Muslims, and then it eventually evolved into, how do I say this? The word evolved into a different meaning. It meant, let me look for the word. It meant uncivilized. So that, and another derogatory word that we usually use for, not we, but the racist people use for African Americans, the N-word, that and the word Kapre were like a derogatory term for someone who is uncivilized. And then there was actually a theory that says that these African slaves that were brought in started revolting against the Spaniards, and the Spaniards spread the word that if they assist the slaves, then they would. There was a theory that that's how the Kapre started, but eventually the use of the word didn't really hit that much, so it's just a theory. If you want more details about this, I'm explaining this really badly. But if you want more details about this, there's a really, really good document. It's a short documentary about the Kapres, and you'll learn a lot about our history in this documentary. It's by the Aswang Project, and the title of the documentary is Kapre, the Tree Dweller. So you guys watch that. It's a great documentary. It's just short. But you'll learn a lot.
Why are you so worried? Like, it's not gonna be boring, guys. It's just gonna be short.
Yeah, because like the people nowadays the people are like...
We're not people
we
of
all
nowadays.
have short attention span. including me.
Same.
So yeah.
That sounds like a good film to watch. Honestly, I just like embrace the fact that I don't even do my assignment anymore. I don't even look up about the creatures we're talking about. It's just like your role is for tea time, go look for a story, that's it.
Well, at least you're like learning with the listeners.
Yes.
You guys aren't alone.
Yes.
Gabby's with you.
I'm the dumb one in this podcast. Like, I don't know shit.
No, not really. We're both dumb. Because like I can't talk straight. Like I know shit, but I can't. I don't know how to like
Be articulate about it.
form it. Look at that. I can't even.
Good God.
So I'm gonna proceed with
The description.
the description. Yes. So it's one of the most famous mythical creatures in the Philippines. We don't really think about it as a mythical creature. We sometimes think that it's an urban legend, that it's just a story.
Yep.
Most of the time, people are quick to dismiss a Kapre, but it's actually an important creature in our mythology. So yeah.
That wasn't even the description, but okay.
Yes. So it's usually extremely tall. The shortest one recorded, not recorded, but shortest one that was cited was 7 feet, but it's usually as tall as 10 feet. And then it has unproportional legs. It's extremely hairy and has dark, almost black skin. Not all of it is covered in hair. There are some parts of its face that isn't covered in...
Like a normal human being.
Like a normal human being. But it's not a human being, Gabby.
Okay.
And it lives in trees, usually the bigger trees like the Balete and the Nara tree. But usually it's usually a Balete tree.
Do you know that I looked up the English term for Balete tree?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's not really what it's called. Like, that's our thing, but I can't remember what it is. So, continue.
Thanks, Gab.
Useless information.
But if you guys know what the English word is for Balete, let's all share information. Tweet it to us.
Don't be a Gabby.
Or email it to us.
Ficus. There, because I googled it. Ficus.
Ficus tree. Oh.
I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Ficus.
Ficus? It's not ficus.
I have no idea.
Or is it?
Let's make up a pronunciation.
If you guys know, like I said, tweet it to us or message it to us on Facebook. And start with like, you dumb bitches. This is how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Good God.
And back to the Kapre. Others describe it as a creature that holds a ganja pipe, but it's most famous, and I think this is like the common thing that we all know, that it holds a big and long tobacco.
Remix. This is part of the remix.
I can't stop laughing.
This is good. So we have like content for Patreon. This is going under the compilation.
Yes. Whew. So I'll just repeat that. They usually hold a pink. What is wrong with me?
What is wrong with us?
Could you imagine a Kapre holding a pink tobacco?
Are you serious?
I don't know why I said that. I was gonna say long, but the word pink came out of my mouth.
Ew! That's like long and pink. Okay.
Ew.
It's your fault. This is your fault.
Okay. And then also has big fiery eyes. And it can also, according to our favorite book, The Lost Journal of Alejandro Pardo, it says that it can actually shapeshift. I didn't know that.
Yeah, me too.
I just knew that it's tall and it's hairy and dark. And it actually can shapeshift into animals, but they're like the bigger size. So it's usually a big cat, like almost like a dog, and a big dog. And its favorite...
This kind of sounds similar to the first kind of umo you mentioned last time.
Yeah, he is very similar. He has one description that's like sort of the same as the umo.
Okay.
And so its favorite animal to shapeshift into is a carabao. And it's said to have large eyes that spout green or blue flames. That's really cool.
That looks funny in my imagination. Because I'm imagining like flamethrower eyes. Like,
no, like Ghost Rider eyes.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's less weird.
That's weird. And then the usual characteristic of a Kapre is that it's mostly friendly. It's very playful. It loves to prank on people. And then one thing that it also loves, this one is the same to the first ungo, the one in Samar. Was it from Samar?
Leyte. Close enough.
Close. It loves to watch over people and farmers and livestock. So kind of the same as the first ungo, that it loves to watch over fishermen and fishes. They're caring.
Creepily caring.
Yes. But there's also a special kind of, like I said earlier, they're based on animism. They're spirits that manifest into physical forms.
Did we explain to them what animism really is? Or did they just keep believing that it's like anime?
Yeah, we did. We explained that Gabby.
Sorry, eyes on the board, Gab. See, I told you I'm the dumber one.
But we were able to explain it. But don't worry, we will be posting a transcription of our episodes, and there you can find the glossary of... Is it glossary or glossary? Glossary. See, we're equally dumb. I'm like dumb with pronouncing words.
Wait, how are you going to transcribe our laugh? Are you just going to put like ha 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 ha?
That's like 80% of our podcast,
Yep.
Just laughter. So yeah, since they're spirits that manifest into physical form, so like we all know, there are the good kinds and the bad kinds. What I've read, there's a black Kapre, and these are the bad kinds, and they're very, very rare. And I think because the Kapres, like, they're mostly good, and they love to protect people. This is just a theory, but if they find out that there's like another kind of Kapre that's hurting the people that they're watching over, I think they'd be like, no. I think they'd try to fight, or yeah. So I think that's why it's rare. And the black Kapre, they're kind of the same. That they also love to play pranks on people, but this kind of Kapre will hurt women. They will try to kidnap women and trap them in the tree, and sometimes even rape women.
Why are you like that?
Yeah, but they're very, very, very rare.
Good.
Yeah, you don't really find Kapres like that. And one of the favorite pranks that Kapres do, the good kind of Kapres, they love to confuse you. You can tell that you were like, what's the term for tricked? You were tricked by a Kapre if, like, right before you get lost, you would hear rustling in the trees. So that means that there's a Kapre there and he's playing a prank on you.
I should probably use that excuse because my sense of direction is super bad, and just pretend like, because the Kapre is trying to train me.
I got lost. Yeah, even in your own garden, you can get lost in your own garden.
Wow.
Because the Kapre can do that to you. Like, he can make you confused and shit like that. He just loves to play tricks on you that way. Could you imagine the Kapre? Like, you didn't even know that the Kapre is playing a prank on you, and he's just like laughing his ass off up there in the trees. And he's like, he doesn't have anyone to share with.
Oh my god, that is so sad. No, that's why they're friendly to people, because I think they need someone to tell their stories to. It's like, you know what? One time I did this. Damn.
It was so funny.
And they'd be
their
like
friend
smoking from their ganja pipe or something. Shit, now I get it. That's why they trick people. They need like laugh trip for it. You can't trip without... Anyway. Promoting stoner culture right now.
It's okay. But anyway, I'm like encouraging you.
Not when your president
and also,
is... Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. The world sucks. Our country sucks. The world sucks. No, I'm just kidding. And usually Kapres appear in the drizzling rain. This is according, again, to the Lost Journal of Alejandro Pardo. So Kapre usually appears in the drizzling rain under a new moon. And they frequent abandoned structures or large trees. Yeah, like I said earlier. I'm just reading it. But yeah, that's what they love to do. And another thing, they love to befriend kids. I think because they have like they act like children because they still love to play pranks even though they're like big. They're huge. They're also known as the Philippine Yetti.
Right, yeah.
And it kind of does sound like it's a Yeti because Yetis are also
disproportionate.
You said that right. Their legs are longer than their their torso, so kind of the same as a Kapre. And Yetis are also, it's not known to attack people also, right?
I have no idea. I just know like Bigfoot, and he's probably a Yeti.
Yeah, and also if you anger a Kapre, it will attack you. Specifically, it will snap your neck.
Wow. That escalated quickly.
But I think the only way, because while researching, this is the only thing that would make them angry, that came up that would make them angry, that if you cut the tree without asking them to move, like if you cut away the tree that they're living in without asking the
Why do we
Kapre
have
to
so
move.
much more politicians that are still alive? These guys are the ones cutting our trees.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll never know.
We're so morbid.
And I'd like to share also, before I get to that, Kapres also like to utilize vegetation for their clothing.
How? They wear clothes?
They wear leaves for clothes. Would you really want to see a naked Kapre, Gabby?
Ew. No, thank you.
With all the hair.
And the pink tobacco.
No thanks.
I don't want to see the pink tobacco. Stop.
What the fuck?
You started this. I'm so filled with air, I'm gonna burp.
I didn't do it on purpose. Anyway, I'd like to read an excerpt in the Lost Journal of Alejandro Pardo.
We're doing this again.
So, yeah. And I swear I'm gonna read it badly, but I just want to read it. So forgive me, you guys. And buy the book so that you can read it in your own voice. And I don't know how to start. I'm quite appalled to report that the Kapre indeed have the reek of goat all about them. This is an ordeal I would not wish on my most hated enemy. To step into an enclosed space containing both a Kapre and a pugot. That would be suicide of the most agonizingly slow and atrocious sort. So, it mentioned about the pugot, the Kapre, which I forgot to mention earlier. The Kapre origin, it's almost the same as the pugot, which is an Ilocano creature, the same as the Kapre. Like, it also smokes tobacco. It's huge and hairy that way. So they have the same qualities, but I think because it evolved, the word Kapre evolved into the uncivilized word. So that's it. I forgot where I was going for. But yeah.
I was really waiting for it. I held my breath, actually. So I'm like, what is she going to say?
No, for reals though. But the other creatures all over, because we have different tribes and they believe in different things. And there are creatures that are the same that have the same description as the Kapre. So it ended up like it's... But like they started calling those other creatures as Kapre as well.
Okay. I can't even remember the entire sentence because I'm just laughing.
This is such a pink tobacco episode.
That's the title.
Yeah. Wait, it's not yet end of the episode and we already revealed the title.
Shit. No, we're gonna change our minds. We don't want them to know.
Yeah, but they will see the title though when they click on the episode.
Shh, stop. We haven't even named our previous episode yet, and yet we already have a name for this. What is up?
What's good? So I'm going to proceed with how to drive a Kapre away. So one of the things that you can do is brew vinegar and crushed ginger, garlic, salt, pepper, and onion. So it's going to be like cooking. So, and also you can add a prayer after that, but the prayer is believed to be like added when Christianity arrived in the Philippines. So we don't know if that's like, if that works or not, but
it's just to make the ritual more tedious. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. If ever you see a Kapre fall off the tree, you will do this chant. Should I read it? I'll read it. Bari bari umarayu kamu nganim afu. And I am now scared because I just said something that I don't understand.
And you probably
that's
like
the chanting. Oh shit. Gab, don't scare me like that.
I can tell you're really freaked out and I'm loving it.
Shut up. I heard something.
We're not doing this here. No.
So I'm going to proceed. We keep on derailing, you guys. Sorry. But yeah. Oh, by the way, if ever you see a Kapre falling, just make sure to stay away from the tree because there's a chance that it might blame you for his falling and might snap your neck. Why did I say it like that?
No idea.
So, yep, that's it. So, that's the characteristics of a Kapre.
That was long.
Was it?
The pause, like, no, your pause, like, eh? And it's like, how many seconds?
I wanted it to be like Gas Abelgas in Soko. The beautiful pause. So, is it tea time?
Tea
Oh shit, wait,
time.
before you do tea time. Sorry.
What?
I just remembered my cousin's friend, the story that I told you before we started recording.
Yeah, which you didn't really tell me.
Yeah. So, my cousin has had this friend who was courted by a Kapre. And it actually asked permission from her parents to marry her. And
What the?
yeah, the only people that they could see the Kapre was her and her parents and her other family members, but mostly her, because she would always pass by this huge tree on her way home, and the Kapre lived in that tree, and then it befriended her, and then eventually like went to their house and asked permission from her parents to marry her. So her parents had to ask help from a mangkukulam to add a spell to ward off the Kapre.
Yeah, because how do you say no to that?
Yeah.
It might snap your neck.
True. And then she goes home by herself. So, like, what if
But
he's...
how was she? Was she okay with the Kapre being in her house and asking permission from her parents? Or do
No,
you think she's just...
she actually was surprised because she didn't know. Like, she felt that the Kapre was, like, interested in her more than a friend. But, like, she didn't know that it had plans to marry her. And then she was shocked. I actually have seen her. I've seen this cousin's friend. She's pretty, but, like...
Oh my god, that's so...
Yeah, for real.
I don't even know what to feel.
When my cousin told me about it, I was like, fuck! What?
I mean, imagine what would you do if that
And
happened
she had a
to
hard
you?
time telling her friends, like my cousin. She had a hard time telling them. Because, like, how would you tell your friends without, you know...
Weirding them out.
Yeah, like, they're gonna call you crazy. But, yeah, they didn't believe at first. But then, like, their neighbors would be like... How do I say this? It was confirmed by their neighbors who had the third eye, who saw the Kapre by their house and shit like that.
I don't know what to feel.
Me too. I was so scared. I think I was in college or in high school when I found out about that story. No, I was in college already when I found out about that
You
story.
never told me this.
I did. I told you, but the story that I told you was a duende because I thought it was a duende. But and then I asked
you
my
keep
cousin.
saying,
Yeah.
Repeat it one more time,
No,
please. Thanks.
thank you. And I asked my cousin again because we will be covering. We will be doing an episode about the other creature. I don't want to say it anymore. But yeah, so I asked her and she was like, no, it wasn't that creature. It was a Kapre. And I was like, what the fuck? That's so scary.
But I think I would choose that than the other thing.
Yeah,
Because
true.
I feel like they're darker.
True. And also, the Mangkukulam actually, like, did a ritual on the tree, the supposed tree where the Kapre lived to, like, trap her. I don't know what she did, but, like, to keep the Kapre there so that the Kapre won't bother them anymore.
Yeah.
And I think they moved also.
I would, if I were in their shoes, I don't care if they did whatever ritual.
I think the Kapre can track you down. Yep. I think it can track you down.
Move countries.
Could you
Move countries.
imagine a Kapre, like, trying to ride a plane?
Please.
I was
thinking
just
that
gotta
too.
follow the girl that I love, man. I don't got a passport or anything. I'm doing this for love. And the immigration officer's
Do you think they'd
like,
show up in like photographs? Kind of like Dracula, you know?
I think they do because there are like footages of Kapres.
Oh, but they're not citizens. They can't get a Philippine passport.
Right, but they live in the Philippines, so are they considered as...
But you're gonna need like a birth certificate.
Oh my god. But they've been around for so long. If I were the immigration officer, I'd be like, yep, go through. You might snap my neck.
My neck. Yep. But would it even fit inside a plane?
It would fit in the cargo of the... Oh my god, I'm imagining it right now. Like, Capra's
It's
just
like we've
sitting
got a
down
Carabao. No, we've got a Carabao in the
with
cargo.
fiery blue
guys.
eyes.
What the hell? We're making up a scenario. What is wrong with us?
It's the fan fiction fanatics.
Good God.
So, is it tea time?
I think so. We've overdone our snacks. I think it's pretty cool that the story I found had something to do with history
Mm-hmm.
and a very important person in our history.
Dun dun dun.
So, ta-da! This is a story of a little boy. Kidding. This is about like Emilio Aguinaldo, who was said to have a Kapre friend.
Yes.
So Emilio Aguinaldo, or General Emilio Aguinaldo, is the Philippines' first and youngest president. He was also a revolutionary military leader who achieved Philippine independence from the Spanish and the Americans. So because of that, he was elected to be president at the age of 29.
He was the one who also waved the flag during our independence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Was he? He was, right? Yeah, he was.
I think so. Let's not put in facts next time if we're not sure.
We've never learned.
We keep painting ourselves stupider each time. But I like this story because it really feels like reading from those textbook short stories in English class. So let's pretend we're doing Tales from the Ring of Fire. Are you familiar with that? Like the Nickelodeon show? Yeah, it kind of feels... I thought it would feel like that when I read it. So it was believed that General Aguinaldo had a Kapre friend who lived under a bridge near his mansion, which he befriended and gave him powers to help him in battle. Like, people said it's the reason why he was so good in battle. Okay, so the story goes. One day, why did I say General? I was so into it, like, oh, the patriotism. I was doing well. Okay.
You haven't even started yet.
I know, and I messed up. Let's rewind. Okay, one day, General Emilio Aguinaldo was walking down the bridge to discuss plans with his comrades regarding the attack against the Spanish when he heard a large noise under the bridge. Startled, he decided to see what it was and saw something his eyes couldn't believe. A Kapre.
Ooh.
I know, we should do this. What? Yes.
What is happening
What
to
is going on? Yeah.
And it's not even that funny, and we're just like giggling away.
Good God. I have a reason because I'm hungry. I don't know why I'm hungry. I ate dinner. I'm hungry. And I blame it on that. Okay, so shocked, he reached for his revolver and pointed at it. Leave, Emilio shouted. See, I told you, it's like textbook. It has like dialogues and stuff.
Why did he say leave right away? What if it was a dog?
It's what? No, he already knew it's a Kapre.
Oh, okay.
Like, he saw it already.
Oh yeah, he was shocked. I forgot about that part.
We are so bad at like paying attention. Good God. Oh, by the way, this was a 5th grader's assignment.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, it's like a translation of, I'm not even sure if the story is in Filipino, but it's a translation of that. And this was by Carlos Gabriel G. Aquino. He did the assignment, so you go, kid. Anyway.
Good job, kid. For doing our job for us.
Yep, I just copied and pasted your work. Yeah, so the Kapre replied, don't shoot, I can give you something of worth if you don't shoot. So slowly, Emilio lowered his gun and asked, what can you give me? I have a magic stone. It can make you immune to any attack. You'll be invincible, said the Kapre. I feel like I'm back in grade school. They're reading in front of the class.
Yeah, his English is very good. The Kapre.
I know. Do you think they know how to like change languages depending on who can see them?
I think, let's just say they do, because they're spirits.
Yeah, they probably learned from meeting various people. So the Kapre gave Emilio the magic charm, white and shiny. He took a good look at it, looked up, and realized that the Kapre was gone. So he went back up the bridge and walked to his comrade's base to discuss the plans.
Oh my God, do you think the Kapre knew that Emilio was meant to free us from...
I think so.
And he was like, I'm gonna help you out, bro. Let me hook you up.
Yep, I think he was like into him already.
Where the fuck is my... Okay, I don't want to say it. I was about to say where the fuck is my... But then I realized, nope.
Well, sorry, the spiritual intellectual connection is weak. I don't know what you were referring to.
I'll just
So you
chat
have to
it.
spell it out.
I think they can read.
The listeners cannot read
I
this.
was about to say, where is my Kapre? And then,
What? I don't understand.
damn it, the creature that you're talking about. Because I want him to give me that thing, and then I realized, what happened to my cousin's friend. I'm like, nope, not gonna say that out loud.
Okay. So, in battle, Emilio noticed that he was fighting very well. He dodged every bullet the Spanish shot and shot back with such accuracy, and his comrades would congratulate him after the battle.
Cheater.
It's not cheating. It's like a power-up or something. So that night, he went under the bridge where he met the Kapre. Called the Kapre for a few moments, and it finally came down the Ficus tree. There you go. This is why I translated Balete, because it feels like, what is this? So Emilio wanted to give the anting-anting back, the charm, but the Kapre was... where am I lost... Shh, let me stop. I need to concentrate. Oh, here. The Kapre said, keep it. Do you have any weapons with you? And Emilio shook his head. No. What's your name? He asked. My name is Dahon, the Kapre replied. This is so weird.
That's so cute.
Do you even think that's his actual name, or this is just for the story?
He's just looking for the nearest thing, like Dahon.
It's like, yeah, let's go with that. I see that in the tree. Yep, that's probably his name. So soon it helped Emilio in all his battles.
Are you sure it wasn't just drugs?
Oh, right, because dahon means leaves. Smart. Smart. Because eventually the Kapre helped Emilio in all his battles, giving him military advice and protecting him. As years passed, Emilio and Dahon became more of friends than military comrades. Once, Dahon introduced Emilio to his Kapre family and they had a fun time.
What?
I know. What is this? I think it's the burning
smoking
bush.
together and...
This is my homies. Let's hang out and have some fun. So, okay, it's a dialogue now. You know, when I was a kid, I always threw stones under the bridge at the weird-looking tree that looked like it was staring at me, said Emilio. Dahon said, that was probably my dad. He used to observe you humans. He even made friends with one. But one day, he went into the woods and never came back.
Oh my
A few years later, I know it's a sad story. It ends sad. I'm almost done.
You're like, shut up now, I'm almost done.
It's like, yes, let's finish this. No. So a few years later, I hurt my tummy. Anyway, a few years later, Dahon went up the bridge into Emilio's mansion to visit him. But when he went inside, he saw Emilio's body lying on the floor. Dahon picked up Emilio, rushed him to the nearest hospital he could find, and dropped him on the doorstep. Hiding in a tree next to Emilio's room, he heard the doctor say that he couldn't survive. Extremely sad, he went into the woods his father disappeared to, hid in the tree, destined to stay there for eternity. The end.
Oh my god.
I told you it's a sad story. And this story, or the idea of this whole thing, was based from an article, Aguinaldo para kay Aguinaldo, by Dr. Isagani Medina, who is an actual historian, librarian, bibliographer, archivist, linguist, and writer. I'm trying to do my favorite murder thing. So in his article, he wrote that the Kapre lived under the bridge near General Aguinaldo's mansion, and oftentimes the Kapre is seen smoking cigar under the moonlight on the branch of a fire tree. And it is said that the Kapre gave the former president an amulet or an anting-anting to protect him from harm. So whenever someone shot at the general, the bullets would just pass through, leaving him unharmed. I have no idea how that's physically possible. Probably they just missed, but let's go with that.
Yep, it sounds way cooler.
Yeah, so the night before the fight with the Spanish, General Aguinaldo was found talking to a white shadow by his window. And this was the Kapre giving him advice on how to win the battle. And on one occasion, occasion, the Spanish tried to break into his home through the bridge, and there was a huge leg blocking the bridge. And when the Spanish fired at it, the bullets just bounced off and then back towards them, and they never tried to come near his house again. At the death of General Aguinaldo in Veterans Memorial Hospital in 1964. This is the weirdest part. It kind of sounds like what would happen to an aswang when it dies. Because a stone the size of a marble came out of his mouth, and that was said to be the amulet.
Whoa.
I have no idea what this fucking historian was smoking, but the fact that this got published is like, wow.
I gotta be better at making shit up so I can be published.
He has a doctorate degree. Wow. I'm just blown away. But to burst everyone's bubble, this was actually based on, what was that, an episode in Jessica Soho?
Yep.
It started with just the gardener of Emilio Aguinaldo starting the Kapre story, because they had like lots of trees near the mansion, fruit trees, and a lot of kids would like climb up and get the fruits. So to stop them, the gardener made up a story like there's a Kapre living up there and you guys shouldn't go near it.
Yeah.
That was basically it.
Yeah, I watched that episode of Jessica Soho, and they were able to interview the grandson or the great-grandson, I can't remember, of Emilio Aguinaldo. And he lived in the colonial house while he was a kid, and he said he never saw anything. He never smelled anything, apparently, because Kapres are known to smell like goats, and they smell bad. But he never smelled or saw anything. And he actually was like, we beg you to stop the rumors. He's like that. And then they interviewed the historian. Her name was Belen Nokon, and she was the one who said that it was actually just a gardener who started the rumor that the Aguinaldos have a Kapre friend and they're going to attack you or something like that if you keep on getting the fruits. Because I've been to that, I wasn't able to like step foot on the place, but we were able to pass by because my mom's from Cavite, but not from Kawit. She's from Dasmariñas. And then I don't know what happened during that time. I can't remember, but next thing I know, my aunt was like, oh, by the way, this is the colonial house where Emilio Aguinaldo waved the Philippine flag as a symbol of our independence. And then that's it. And it's a really beautiful place that has a huge yard. The mansion isn't that big. It is big, but it's not, how I imagined it.
I think because when you hear the word mansion, it's like, mansion.
And I was shocked to see because I was expecting it to look just like how you see it in the paintings of the Philippines Independence Day paintings. But it was like painted white at that time, and it had air conditioner and shit like that. And I was like, oh, nice. The structure is still the same. They didn't change anything at all. It's still made of wood, but it doesn't look, they painted it. And I don't think it had the windows. I forget what you call like the old Filipino windows.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called either, but I can imagine what you mean.
Yeah, it's like a shell, and it's made out of a lot of squares. That kind of window. I think if I remember it correctly, that's what the windows were. And, because I was a kid, I was like, okay, cool. And I wasn't really interested. And now I'm like, God, I wish we went inside or something.
It's like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like that.
Yeah. And by the way, I actually believe in like the grandson, because if there really was a Kapre, he would try to befriend the grandson of Emilio Aguinaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, no, there's nothing at all. Like, there's nothing at all. So that's it.
But
and also,
I can't even imagine seeing one in person. Not that I want to,
I don't want to.
I can't imagine.
Me too. And also another thing regarding the rumors, I mentioned the Aswang Project documentary earlier, the Kapre tree dweller. And then in that documentary, they mentioned that Emilio Aguinaldo was friends with David Fagan, and he was an American
black guy.
I think he was a revolutionist also. And what the fuck was that?
Oh, sorry, I moved my table because I'm really hungry. I'm gonna hunt for snacks. Keep talking.
That scared me. But yeah, he was an African American, and then the rumor was that he was killed. He was decapitated, but Emilio Aguinaldo actually saved him, and he lived in the mansion secretly. And then during the night, he would go out since, there are lesser people at night, and he was the person that the people saw because, since it's dark and they don't really see anything. And I bet he was also tall, so that's why they were like, oh, it's real. Like, we see a creature walking down around the...
That is so racist.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, like, since there was already a rumor that there was a Kapre living there, so I think they would be like, oh shit, that's it, because people love to claim to, like, see shit. And also, oh shit, I forgot to mention that there's a rumor that there's a Kapre in the Balete tree outside, or I think inside the Malacanang Palace. The one that...
Why is it always politically related?
We'll never know. Maybe Kapres are into politics. And... right? They're like secretly watching the news and they're like, that's a dumb move or something like that.
I wonder what they think about our current government.
And they'd be like, that's a dumb move economically. What the hell are you doing? Could you imagine? They'd be like reading the newspaper. Yeah, the tree that I'm referring to is the tree that Noynoy Aquino, when he was the president, he declared it as like a heritage or something in the Malacanang Palace because it is like a really old Balete tree. So yeah, that's it. If you want to see what a Kapre looks like, maybe you can like hang out there and like smoke pink tobacco with him.
Ew! You do not want to put any pink tobacco near your mouth. Please do not do that. Okay, you guys, click like, subscribe, and
we're
rate
done?
our iTunes, please, because I'm really hungry right now. We need to end this.
So that Gabby can eat properly. Click
Yes.
subscribe, rate, and then please review. And also, we have Patreon if you want to donate. It's Creepy Conversations with Kalai and Gabby. And if you want to reach out to us...
I'm laughing so hard because I feel like I pressured you into ending this.
We're like hurrying up because Gabby wants to eat.
I'm opening up my PB&J right now and I've got my biscuits ready. So no, keep talking please because I need to chomp on this.
Yeah, if you guys want to reach out to us, if you have stories or anything like that you want to share, fan fiction or anything, we want to keep on learning.
Park, I closed my browser. I was gonna check what our next episode would be. Do you have any idea?
I think I have it here with me. But yeah, you can find us on creepyconvos@gmail.com and creepyconvos on Twitter. And
I'm sorry, I'm so distracted.
I think that's it, right? What episode 9 is gonna be about?
Oh my gosh, we're almost at 10 episodes. I'm so proud of us.
Fuck, I can't find where episode 9 is.
I don't understand why I'm so hungry.
Hometown Murders! Yeah!
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Gabby's like eating. Technically, our previous episode was about hometown murders, but
bro, this is like first-hand.
Yeah, first-hand experience. We know the people that. Yep. Just check out our next episode.
I kind of regret like going for peanut butter while doing the podcast because it's so hard to talk.
But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. And
what was my yeah? Thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, the government is always watching you. Bye!